Good morning, everybody. Orange J here with another Etheria restart video, and finally, we've got the patch notes we've been waiting what feels like forever for. Now, there's a bunch of stuff in these patch notes, and I'm going to go through all of it in this video, but I want to start with the some images here are looking pretty good too, but I want to start with the most interesting thing, which is, I think, the buffs and nerfs to certain characters in the game. So I'm going to start there, and then if you want to see my breakdown of the rest of the patch notes, you could tune in to the second half of the video. But anyway, they say in the launch version, they've adjusted the skill mechanic and prowess coefficients of select animuses to balance their performance. They buffed and nerfed stuff. That's a long way of saying we buffed and nerfed stuff. Now, the first thing they sneak in there, and this is a big deal, is it says animus units ascended to 5 stars and 6 stars will each gain an additional 5 points to their base speed. That's a big deal. Like, that's a lot more speed for characters, which will help, if I'm reading that right, and basically all characters in the game are going to get 10 more base speed. That's huge for farming some of the harder PvE levels in the game, and it'll be balanced in PvP because everybody's going to get the same stuff. So anyway, yeah, 300 speed, probably like achievable now. That's awesome. Combat stability improved. Okay, let's go to animus specific adjustments. Now, Chloros. So Chloros, Scythe guy, right? Scythe carrying guy just deals more damage now. His single target damage on his skill 3 went from a 400% modifier to a 480% modifier. So a nice big buff for him. He still plays the exact same way, doing his thing where he like singles somebody out, but now he hits harder. Nice buff for him. Probably still not recommending him as like a day 1 pull, but it's a good buff and he's going to do a lot of damage. Okay, Veronica, the girl I was really hoping got the most buffs because I really wanted to pull her on day 1. She did get buffs, and red means buffs, green means nerfs, so that's a weird thing to pay attention to here. So now her skill 3 deals 420% damage just like it did before to a single enemy with an 80% chance to steal all the target's buff, then has a 100% chance to spread all her buffs to all allies. That is awesome. That is a huge buff to Veronica. She now steals buff from enemy and spreads all her buffs across the team. Great buff. She needed that, and she's instantly like better, way better, regardless of how like the math works on resistances and stuff. So great buff to Veronica. You love to see it. Okay, Water Spirit Mia. She is a very underrated unit, and I already thought she was pretty strong, but when I played her on my free-to-play beta account, I never felt like she healed quite as hard as the other healers in the game. They're aiming to fix that. So first of all, her skill 2 goes from a 5-turn cooldown to a 4-turn cooldown. And I can show you, like, we need to see, they don't give that skill 2 like review in here, but I'll throw it on the screen. So here's her skill 2. She does 2 hits of 140% damage to all enemies, 50% chance to dispel 1 buff, and a 75% chance to knock their turn meter back. So that might not look like a huge deal, but that is a massive amount of utility being added to Mia. Do not sleep on this character. Getting a turn cooldown like off of that is huge. She's a better stripper now. Oh my god. And she's a better at pushing turn meter around. And then her skill 3, Sunny Sky, got a 5% increase to the heal. So heals all allies for 30% now of her maximum HP. It still reduces the cooldowns by 1, extends all buffs by turn. Great buff for Mia. She might be on par with like a Ling Luo now for certain content in the game, especially where you need to be like stripping buffs from the enemy. Love what she got right there. Okay, Chiata, another character you just didn't see very much of. Her skill 3 went from, it deals 220% damage to all enemies with a 60% chance to defense down for 2 turns. For each evolution of Soul Flames, the skill's current and maximum cooldown reduces by a turn, and then it deals additionally 10% more damage. It went from 80% additional damage to 90%. It's a small buff. She was in an okay spot before. I definitely don't think this pushes her like significantly up a tier list or anything, but I will be redoing my tier list soon. Now, I thought Tiamat got hit too hard. I honestly have felt for a while like Tiamat's value had been falling a little bit. She got smacked with a nerf right here. So her thunder spear, her skill 1 is the one that got nerfed. You might be thinking, yeah, it's just her skill 1, but her passive is on skill 1. So upon reaching 8 stacks of bloodbath and entering her ultimate form, she recovers now only 10% of her HP, down from 30. So her heal got 1/3 and immediately gains the extra turn still. That's fine. Each stack of bloodbath increases healing by only 3% now instead of 4. I felt like they could have left her alone, especially with the buffs other people were getting. I don't know that she needed a nerf, and that does change how I feel about her a little bit. I'll have to take some time to think about that before I do my like final tier list. Okay, Rahu. So Rahu's defense scaling character, really good if you like invest heavily into him and you start getting to like defense set of gears, and he's getting a buff. So his skill 1 will now do 30% more damage at single enemy, still does the defense down. And his skill 3, his passive, each stack now increases defense by another 1% up to 12 stacks. So that is a potential 12% defense buff increase right there, which is not insignificant. And then for every 4 defense he has more than the target, his basic attack damage increases by 1% up to 40 now. So potentially 12% more defense and 10% more damage on his passive effect. That's pretty solid. This guy was already in a good spot. He's better now. Good for him. Okay, Ling Luo actually got a buff. That's surprising. I figured they wouldn't touch her, but before each heal, she has now a 75% chance, up from 65, to purify a debuff from the target. If the target has no debuffs, she now has a 75 up from 65 chance to apply Whale Prayer. So a decent little buff. She's still the same character, now buffs a little bit. Rosa got nerfed. This isn't surprising to me. She was really powerful in the last open beta, and a lot of people were saying like, oh, she's my like select summon banner now. They didn't hit her too hard. Her skill 1, if the final hit is a crit, she has a 50% chance to push the target meter back by only 8% now instead of 10. She's essentially still the same character. This doesn't change my mind about her at all. That is a very minor adjustment to her skill 1. Well, I say that she does her skill 1 a lot. I might revisit that take I just had, because this is essentially her like follow-up attack, her basic. So she's losing a lot of turn meter pushback right here. Her damage is still going to be the same. She's still going to be blasting people. So her main role is still there, but just a little bit less turn meter pushback. That's fine for an adjustment. That's fine. Okay, Born, Dog Boy. So his skill 2 passive got buffed. So at the start of battle, increase HP by the amount equal to. Put the monitor out. Sorry, somebody was at the door. Anyway, at the start of battle, increase the HP cap by amount equal to 560, up from 500 of his attack. So that's nice. And then his Starcaller skill 3 got a 40% damage buff. So 440% damage up to 480% damage. He was okay before. That he's in a better place now. A nice AoE blue element damage dealer. Okay, Puppet Master Lilith. So not Lily, who is missing from this list. Lily just continues to be great. But Lilith, the one with the balloon, deals damage to all enemies now. Her skill 2 got a 4% damage buff of her maximum HP. And she was fine. She's kind of the same character was. She's a little bit better. People who like Lilith will still really like Lilith. Okay, Kloss. Now, at first you look at Kloss and you think she got kind of nerfed and they did the color wrong, because her hacking in progress and her hack in lost the 4% lower speed and the 20% speed off on her stack. But what they did is they moved it to her skill 3. So her skill 3 now provides defense down and speed down debuff for 2 turns. It's an interesting adjustment, I think, but she's still kind of the same character. I think it's fine. They just moved her speed down to her skill 3. It allows her to do more things on her first turn. I actually kind of like it. Okay, Freya got nerfed. That's interesting. So her passive, each time an enemy inflicted with a debuff, there's now only a 70% chance to push turn meter back by 4, up from just automatically doing it every time. It can now be like resisted. That makes resist gear better against her. And I think this is another interesting one to me, because I think a lot of people were already kind of moving away from Freya, or at least that's been some talk. This is a nerf. Like, this is a significant nerf to her. The kind of turn meter manipulation value she provides. You won't feel it a lot early because it won't get resisted much early at a 70%, but like later on in PvP or in like fights where you're fighting mobs that have a lot of resist, this could just not trigger. Okay, Turandot. Now look, what the hell did Turandot ever do to anybody? She did not need a nerf, but her blades, or Whirling Blade skill 2 does the same amount of damage, but the turn meter pushback went from 30 to 25%. It's not a big nerf. It's a very small nerf. I just don't know that she needed it. Come on, man. Okay, Chiaki. So this is the healer Chiaki, got a buff, and I actually liked her already. I think she is now solidly up there with like regular Sonya. I still think Sonya's probably better, but yeah, we'll see a little bit about Sonya here in a minute. So Chiaki getting a buff, trying to up her to that Sonya level. We'll see if they did it when we read Sonya's nerfs. But her skill 1, still does the same damage. Now heals the 2 allies with the lowest HP percentage for 15% of her max HP, up from 12. So a little bit more healing there. 5% more healing on her skill 2 and 6% more healing on her skill 3. So she's just better at healing now. Okay, that's fine. Good deal there. Dual Thorn Dina. Dina was probably getting nerfed. We all probably knew that. She's too good. But notice they did not nerf her skill 3. Great. Great. Okay, so her skill 1 now only steals 15% turn meter if it procs. It was already kind of a low chance to proc anyway. That's a lot. That 10% nerf there is big. It's almost half of what it used to steal. So okay, but you can still live with that. She's still a great debuffer even with that. And then the erosion passive on her skill 2. How much did they hurt this by? So she could already lower defense on an enemy, which is really important for a lot of fights, but she was also applying this erosion, which just upped the damage that they took. They turned that down from 10% increase to 6. She's still going to be very important for like Terramaton, for a lot of the fights that she's important in, but she won't steal as much turn meter anymore, and she won't up the damage they take by as much anymore. But she's still defense debuffing. She's still doing her thing. She's more balanced. She's now a great, she went from being like, you have to have this character or you're kind of screwed, to just she's really good. So fine. Okay, Kraken got nerfed. His freeze dropped from a 75% chance to a 65% chance. That's significant. Yeah, that's a turn meter pushback got nerfed by 10%. And then the freeze also got nerfed from a 60 to a 50% chance. So a big nerf to Kraken right there, actually. I don't know that it makes like Obel or somebody like that better, but if you're thinking about Doki Doki, there was already Kazuyo who was better for that fight anyway. Okay, the Kraken nerf, man, that's a PvP nerf too. It's a big PvP nerf for him. Virtuous Maiden Sonya. So previously, before this, the best SR healer in the game. Let's see if she's still that. So at the end of a turn, if Sonya is in an incapacitated state, heals the 2 allies with the lowest HP percentage. It does all the same stuff. But now the heal went from 16 to 14% of her max HP, a small nerf. Additionally, for every 1% of HP Sonya loses, her healing effect only goes up by 0.6 instead of 0.8. So it's a nerf to her passive healing. She'll still heal just fine. And then she just got an issue fixed with her skill 3. Okay, she's still the best healer for an SR character, I think. She's maybe a little closer to our girl Chiaki now, but she's still going to be doing her thing. Marvel. Now, Marvel, I made a whole video in the beta predicting that Marvel was going to get slapped with the nerf stick, and he did. So his skill 1 now only has it went down from a 50 to a 40% chance to steal turn meter, by 25% to only 15. So a 10% less chance to steal 10% less turn meter. His skill 1 was broken. Like, it was too good for an SR spammable skill 1. You could almost just, if you build enough speed on him, you could like lock somebody down with that thing. Now you can't. It's going to get resisted more. It's not going to push back enough. It's still a really good skill, Marvel fans, but he's now more in line with what he should be. And then his skill 3 also got nerfed, and there's a couple parts to this. So now the turn meter pushback went from 50 to 40. It's still damn good at 40. 50 was just too much. It's now 40. I like this nerf. People are going to hate this, but it's whatever. Here's the big one. Cooldown up from 4 to 5. So less spammable. In the end game, when you're actually able to farm the shell, I can't remember off the top of my head, that like basically just lets you cast a skill and then cast it again next turn anyway, this nerf won't matter. For the early and mid games, that nerf hurts. It really does. So Marvel getting nerfed as we thought. Victor. Hey, you want to talk about an SR character that hit too hard? It was Victor, and it was because of his passive, and sure enough, that's what's getting nerfed. So for every 10% of HP he lost, his damage will now only go up 9% instead of 15. Huge nerf to Victor. Now the question, do you pick Victor or the other guy, the sniper dude? Shit. Yeah, the other single target SR DPS. It might tip back the other way. It's not Fangus, because that's the dot guy. Whatever, I can't remember his name. But the other guy, the sniper who puts the passive mark on people, might be better than Victor now. So there we go. And then his skill 3 just had a buff, or just got fixed. So big nerf to Victor. He got slapped hard. Okay, Link's Dorothy. Fix an issue where the skill is not being cast. Whatever. Number 41. Oh, this is a big nerf right here. So one of the things that made number 41 insane is she had a 35% push for her whole team. Turn meter buff. It's now 20. They nerfed that thing by 15%. That's crazy, man. They kicked her right in the nerf whatever. Okay, then there's some adjustments to shells and things that are a little bit less interesting, I think. So that's like what I think is the most interesting part of the video. I will go through a lot of the rest of this now, and I'm going to start at the top. So this was surprising to me. I thought they would wait a couple of weeks to release the new characters, but they say this update introduces 2 new animuses to the permanent summon pool. So we are getting Mio. Yeah, Mio, right? Because there's Mia and Mio in this game. We're getting the new one of those two, whichever, O or A. It's so small, the words. The Mist Fairy. This is our Mio. Her name is Mio, like the stuff you put in your water. So she's coming out with the first patch. That's surprising. They just throw some screenshots in there. And in my opinion, the cooler looking of the two, Big Fist Punch Girl. We know she's going to be like a buff stripper, and so she has like AoE buff stripping. That could be insane, but they don't tell much more about her kit. Then they say that we already knew this. United Front, which is the guild versus guild, is going to be in the game. Let's see what they have to say about that. It says, rally union members become the strongest union in the United Front. Once a union reaches level 6, United Front will be unlocked. So you got to get to level 6. We'll be there day 1 for sure, starting approximately 2 weeks after Etheria restarts official launch. So this is 2 weeks out. All right. With one event per week thereafter, matched unions will compete by launching simulated attacks on each other's defense to earn battle points. The unit with the highest points wins, blah, blah, blah. There's what some maps look like. Very excited for that. Sad we have to wait 2 weeks, but it is what it is. At least we have to play the game. Shell story. Look, as long as like it's easy to get more prizes and stuff, cool. Like just give me all of this kind of stuff you want as long as it give me good prizes. Okay, prismatic wish machine. Hey, look, it's more prizes and stuff. So great. This one's going to give you shell skins for your Chaku ring. Cool. Fine. Great. This is an interesting one. This one's interesting because it shows Hoyan and Holden, 2 characters we don't have yet. But surprise moment, limited time up. Pool exclusive event pages are now open. I got a lot to say about this one. During a featured Animus limited time up period, a dedicated event page will appear under event, where players can purchase exclusive bundles, and the corresponding Animus's limited time skin will also be available. Okay, the prices on this are high. This is definitely some whale territory stuff. What I don't understand is like, is this going to be for characters that are like currently featured? So will there be like a Freya and a Messiah skin in here or something like that? If so, I am all about it. Like, sell skins. Gacha games should just sell skins because it's a way to make money off of whales without unbalancing the game anymore. Now these packs at the bottom, $68 for 15 summons and 400 currency. That's what? 55 pulls. I mean, the prices here aren't bad. They gray out a little bit of it. It's fine. It's just more like summoning packs. This is probably just going to come out. There's a little preview of what Hoyan and Holden skins are going to look like. Cool looking characters, honestly. So, okay. Moving on. Core gameplay expansion. Anti-Sync Echoes now includes exclusive Lingluo story that unlocks 10-12. Okay. Challenge groups 10 through 12. Okay, Ember Trek introduces hard mode. Great. New system features and key adjustments. Adjusted the guaranteed SSR Animus pull count. Okay, they already said they were going to adjust that from 100 to 80. That's really good. Pull history can now be filtered. That's important. Instead of just seeing all of your recent pulls, you can now filter it a little bit. That's good. Added Hydra vouchers to a purchasable item via official website recharge, allowing players to buy sufficient vouchers at once for continuous in-game bundles. Oh, you buy Hydra vouchers to spend in the game. Okay, great. Added region protection for Summit Arena, so you won't match across regions for the first 15 days of the game. That's a good idea. Added a ban protection mechanism to Summit Arena. That's the big one right here. Where both players are above Diamond 1 rank, enabling pre-ban of an Animus and ban protection. So banning is a thing once you hit Diamond. Oh, huge change to Summit Arena. And I got to use the banning feature in the tournament. Guys, it's so much fun. You get to like pre-ban stuff before the match starts, and then wherever you pick third, they can't ban after picks are done. Awesome. Okay, added a tribute bonus preview for Animus Ascension. That's good. Rewards if you exit early, language stuff. I don't see anything else big on here. Let's just keep going. Appearance and outfit adjustments. I don't really care about that. Combat balance adjustments. That's what we just went through. And then there's a little bit more after that. Some shells got buffed and nerfed. Codex of Magic skills cannot have their cooldown reduced. What the heck? I don't understand what this means. Codex of Magic was like OP. Anyway, we'll see what that is in game. White Fang's damage got nerfed. Artisan Shield got nerfed a little bit. Twilight Knight damage got nerfed. It needed it. Twilight Knight was too good for the rarity it was. It's still insane because it still comes with that defense debuff and it still does a lot of damage. Diamond Heart Shield got nerfed. They nerfed shells. That's interesting. Okay. System-related optimizations and adjustments. These are just going to be quality of life features for like the graphics and stuff of the game. Numerical display sorting. Hey, look, any kind of display sorting buff, I'm for it. Games are hard to read already. Adjusted the text color display and Animus profile. Good. Get rid of abnormal dots. That's good. I don't really see a ton here to be like super excited about in the interface adjustments. Instance related adjustments. Adjust the display for the map. Okay. Fix an issue where mechanism pop-up for the Shadowrunner boss could not be closed. That's good. Okay. Arena related adjustments. Let's see what's been adjusted here. So optimize the visual effect of reward distribution. Fine. Improve the rule description for Summit Arena. Okay. Adjusted Summit Arena shop opening rules to reset based on season cycle. So the Summit Arena shop's going to reset based on cycles of season. Fine. Modified the leaderboard refresh time rule for Fearless Arena, which we haven't got to play yet, with settlements based on each region's end time. That's good. Fix an issue where quick operations in Etheria cause abnormal animation playback. So nothing here really. There's no like buffs or nerfs. It's really just yeah, that's really about it. So the buffs and nerfs are the big thing for sure. I don't hate many of them. The Turandot one, man, I was going to build Turandot. Maybe I won't now. Anyway, I think they balanced the game out a little bit more there. Happy to see it. Happy my Marvel prediction was right. There shouldn't be an SR character that like everybody in the game has to have. He's still good, Marvel fans. You can still use your boy. There we go. Chiaki the Echo's value may be increasing back up as Marvel drops. We'll see. I'll have to process this a little bit before I do my updated tier list for launch. Looking forward to that. See y'all in the next one. Peace.